actress in Africa, a woman who we have called our very own modern Yasatoa, a woman who, after a very random tweet on Twitter, led the biggest, I dare say, non-partisan protest in recent times. She's a movie producer, she's an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a woman we all greatly admire. And just looking at everybody in this room, it's a full house. Everybody was on time. I can say we all have great respect for her. And because of that, before I say anything else, shall we all together give a very big round of applause to the woman of the moment, Yvonne Nelson.
My mother, who had been tight-lipped for over 30 years, was now speaking. It was as if the fasting and prayer had broken her spell of silence, softened her heart, and loosened her lips. Whatever that kept her from talking had deserted her, and she was speaking to me. Your father is Peter Ala Ajete, she told me. Thank you.
We all remember the ban. There was a time when Yvonne Nelson was banned from acting movies. It was probably the biggest entertainment news item in Ghana and Nigeria on the acting scene for a very long time. There was a time when she was accused of taking monies from some political parties to lead a protest. There was a time when we were told that she couldn't stay in her house because members of the other party were coming after her. There were times when we heard that she had been in so many fights, so many things. There's always something.
At 29, I wasn't the happiest of ladies you could find. On the outside, things were moving on well, but they didn't translate into internal joy and peace of mind. For instance, I was dating a man I didn't love, a man who was making marriage plans while I was planning to opt out without hurting him too much. On my 29th birthday, he took me to Venice, the city of love and romance. I knew he was going to pop the question, and it scared the hell out of me. The night before my birthday, I called my mother and wept uncontrollably on the phone. I could smell the proposal the following night after dinner, and I was not prepared for it. The response I was about to give would come from a mouth that had no place in my heart. My mother was confused. The man checked all the boxes of a decent and modern day gentleman, the kind of man every sane woman would gravitate toward when she thinks of settling down. He appeared to be at the stage of his life where he needed to settle down. He had a blistering career. He owned a beach house in London. But love works differently. It doesn't care about society's standards. It has its own standards. The standards of love may fail to test logic, but that's love. It works in its own way. Some say love is a decision and not a feeling. But how you feel about someone sometimes determines the decision that you're about to make.
I called him on phone and said we needed to talk. He still lived with his mother, and this was not the kind of news to break in his house. I called him out of the house when I got to Tema. We sat in my Toyota RAV4. He drove a Toyota Matrix at that time, if my memory serves me right. I sensed the intensity of his emotions when I broke the news to him. I could hear his heart pounding. And when he finally found his voice, he faltered. His message was, however, unambiguous. He didn't want the pregnancy. That would damage him and his career. The only option was to get rid of it. Whether or not his career and the uncertainty of my life were real reasons he could not afford to keep the pregnancy, I cannot tell. I later discovered that he had a girlfriend attending a university outside the country. It was in the absence that he got involved with me and things got dangerously complicated. Whatever it was, his stance was clear, and I was left to evaluate my own options. The first thing that hit me when he said no to keeping the pregnancy was my own life. I had grown up without a father in my life. I had often been reminded of how I had been born by mistake.
My uncle wrote a book, 7 Ways on How to Make Money. He is still looking for money to print the book. It's a family thing. I'm a Nigerian, that's how we are. You've been broke for so long. That's why I was surprised my ex-girlfriend was angry with me. She was like, Hogan, how could you? Honestly, if I knew you were this broke, I would not have dated you. I was like, you didn't know? Then what else did you think I meant when I said you're all I have? I've been broke since I was a kid. This is consistency. Before I became a comedian, I used to be really fit. I used to be really in shape because I was always running. Yeah.
Would be a bombshell. I told her, and this is not sounding boastful, that there are very few people in this country who have read more biographies and autobiographies than I have. And I think that this reads like Mike Tyson's autobiography, Undisputed Truth. From the beginning of this book till the end of it, she has told truths that are undisputed. That could actually be the title of the book. Or even if you read Pervez Musharraf's In the Line of Fire. And so, quite frankly, it's not because she's invited me as a special guest or whatever. I took just under 24 hours to read the book cover to cover, 268 pages. And it is not as if in the 24 hours I did nothing else but read the book. I went to work that day and I did all the daily activities that I had to do. But at night when I got home, from 8 p.m. I didn't sleep until 4 a.m.
Believed in me more than I believed in myself. She helped and stood by my side through this long, rocky journey into stardom.
And then put this leg, shoulder up, look straight, be confident, smile.
So, in Ghana, there are two dominant religions, Islam and Christianity. And this book speaks to all of us. So I'm going to say both in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. And then finally, in the name of God, the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. All of these men,
Right, so actor John Dumola, I know you're a very good friend of Yvonne Nelson. My first question is,
would you ever be comfortable to put yourself out there by letting the world know the real you?
I mean, yes. Just as we filmmakers, we tell stories of our culture, our love stories, our heritage. I think it's very important for us to tell our own story, of course, through a book, so that people don't come and tell our stories for us, so that people don't say, oh, we thought it was this or we thought it was that. And so it's very encouraging what she's done. And of course, I would encourage a lot of people to do it. She's done it much earlier. Most people, write their books when they are almost retiring from their careers and so on and so forth. She's done it much earlier, and I know for a fact that probably she would bring, she'll put out more books later on. So I'm pretty proud of her.
Now, you have been a very good friend of Yvonne. She constantly is like, she says it without fear or favor. Looking at the things she has put out in her book, were you privy to some of these things?
Yes, I was. I was privy to some of the things she said in her book, and so it wasn't surprising when I saw some tweets about it. That this was what was going on in her life and so on and so forth. So I was privy to some of the things, and I'm glad she said it.
Now, looking at her, I know she's more like a sister to you. If you have a sister who has had to go through all of these things, how would you feel, and how would you be able to console her at this time of her life?
Look, I think everybody goes through tough times. And I think, like the saying goes, it's tough people who go through tough times. And so it's very important for you to write them down and for let people know. Maybe somebody's going through a similar story. I mean, yesterday I was with a friend, and, what he kept on saying was, he was just telling me about his life story and what he's going through, and what he went through, and so people go through a lot of things, and what she's going through, somebody will have a similar story. Somebody will say, oh, you know what, I'm going through the same thing, but I like the way Yvonne has come out to talk about it. So it makes you heal quicker, so that you can move on quicker.
Well, I have my sister here, Jocelyn, obviously, who was here to support her sister Yvonne as well. Jocelyn, there's a question I keep asking. Would you be comfortable to put your life in a book for the whole world to read about it?
I mean, I think that with what we find ourselves doing, our lives are already out there. Whether there's a perception or there's none, people already sort of, study our lives. So yes, why not? I mean, I think that, like Yvonne said, she was inspiring. I mean, the idea behind this is to inspire someone. There's a girl out there with a dream just like she had, and the blueprint that she used, she's hoping that the person is going to even follow and do better. So I think that, yes, why not? I would be comfortable doing that.
Would I say, knowing her in the industry, some of the things she read out from this book, would you say you were privy to some of them?
Actually, no. I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't worked with her before. But then, she's my friend. She's an acquaintance in the industry, and I think that she's heavily misunderstood. So I'm very happy that she's doing this and she's bearing it all. And to say the least, I think all of us in the industry are heavily misunderstood. So if there's an outlet for you to sort of channel and tell your story the best way you know how, why not? And I think that nobody can tell your story for you but you. So this is such a step in the right direction, and I'm so proud of her.
Right, so Shirley Frimpong Manso, of course, one of the best directors in the country, was here to support Yvonne Nelson. First off, I'm sure you know Yvonne Nelson so well. Would you ever be so comfortable to put out things we do not know about you in a book for the world to read about it?
I have to say, it takes guts. It takes a lot of guts to be able to put it out there like that, especially in the kind of society that we're in. We're not very used to that kind of truth, and so I guess that's where we have to applaud her, because Yvonne has always set her pace. She's always been very different. She's always set her pace. She's always said her truth. And this is what is manifested into the book, and I'm very proud of her. Yes, she's still got a lot of years, doing what she does and loving what she does. And for her to do this at this stage, which means that, there's a lot more stuff that she can do out there. So I'm so proud of her. I don't know if I can do it, Hopefully I get Yvonne's guts in a few years to be able to do something like that. But, this is very encouraging.
Now, the book she has put out, would you consider speaking to her to put it in a movie?
Already, I was speaking with George Quay when he said that he would like to put it on stage. And I think that is something that we have to consider putting onto the screens as well. And I will be honored to direct it.
Now, I know a lot of celebrities always feel like the media has not put them out in a good light to their fans. And so sometimes they find it difficult to actually let us know the kind of people we are. Now, looking at what Yvonne Nelson has done, what would it take for other celebrities to actually let us know who they really are and not necessarily put them in a bad light to the public or their fans?
Well, I heard one of the people on the high table say that we are seeing Yvonne Nelson as she truly is. And I think that it is something that is going to open up the vistas for Ghanaian so-called celebrities and people that have done things that will be able to come out and tell us exactly who they really are. In this age of social media, where everybody is putting the good side of their lives in front of us, a book like Yvonne Nelson's is giving us another dimension of what celebrities can put out.
Her honesty has paid off because she's spoken her mind. You know, most often we hide behind the screen and we don't let the people know who we really are. From what the people read, you could tell she was more like, should I use the word naked? She opened herself up to really say her mind as it is and not hold back. I think it's something good.
Some of the things she's been through, I know you work with her a lot. Would you say you are privy to some of these things?
Yeah, I have an idea of some of the things that were written in the book before now. Yeah.
And how do you feel that what you knew or something you thought was a secret between you all is being put in a book for the world to know about it?
Well, Yvonne is Yvonne. When she told me about it, I was like, wow, but she had already done it. She always wants to be herself, and she feels a masterpiece like this will encourage other people to speak out, to voice out. And you know, there are a lot of people going through depression and stuff because they find it very difficult to express themselves, to confide in people. So they rather put on a face and be excruciating. So it's something good.
Glad to make it. Welcome. This is one of those special moments in my life, and I appreciate you joining me to celebrate the launch of my autobiography. My journey so far has not been a bed of roses, so I'd like to thank God for bringing me this far. Great things He has done and greater things He will do. A very big thank you to Vita Milk, Brussels Airlines, Low Scent, Pediasi Valley Resorts for supporting this event. And to a man I hold in high esteem, Manasseh Azuri, thank you for everything.
Well, the lady herself is finally here, and I'll just make it as quick as I can. Yvonne, what inspired this book?
My life inspired the book.
And why do you think this is the time for you to actually put it out there?
I want people to get a copy of the book. They would understand why this book is so important to me and why I had to write this book.
Now, talking to some of your colleagues, I asked them if they were privy to some of these stories you shared in the book, and they said yes. Usually we want to keep secrets with our friends, but you have kept these secrets for all these years, and now you have put it in a book and you're putting it out there. Why?
Just grab a copy, you'd know why. Grab a copy! Yeah.
Actor John Dumelo says something which I found very touching. You know, Manasseh put out a tweet about, someone very close to the president wanting you to actually contest against John Dumelo. He was touched about the fact that you reached out to him to tell him about it, and you actually didn't go for it. How close are you? Because this could have fetched you a lot of money. It could have done a lot for you. It could have changed your life, but you didn't do it.
Did John say that?
No, he didn't say that, but I'm saying that
he was touched. He said he was touched.
No, he was like, because you're a friend.
Oh yeah, of course. Let's just say I'm not ready to do the politics thing right now. But if you want to know all of that,
that and all the questions she's asking, it is in the book. It is in the book.
Now that everything is in the book. Yvonne, I mean, it has been launched. Where can we get the books?
Okay, so if you want to read online, you can get it on Amazon Kindle, on Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Apple Books, Kobo. If you want a copy, a hard copy, please follow my pages, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. The numbers are there. Send us a message and we'll send a dispatch to you with a copy.